Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of On the Mic with Mike. I'm your host, Mike Larkin, and joining me today is adult star content creator, the one and only Miss Behavin. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. First and foremost, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. I've seen a lot of your work on the adult side of things and your content creation. I gotta say, not only very spicy, very sensual, but you do a lot of great work.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I try. I try. We're all just amateurs out here, just trying to have a little fun and be a little sexy. So
Well,
I always love it if people appreciate what I do.
absolutely. Well, that's the thing too. I mean, sexiness comes in so many different layers, from the internal and external beauty and the voluptuosity factor. I think with what we got going on today, it could be the style, the aesthetic, but everything really is an art form and everything is really sexiness. It really depends on how the right lens you view it, you know?
Right. And I'm just a very sensual person by nature. And I have a little hoish in me, evidently. So I don't know. I just try to have fun.
Which again, well, I look at it like this: when you think of fun and you think of entertainment as well. I mean, we always talk about, like, in general, how when you look at porn and you look at the adult entertainment industry and content wise, we're in a day and age where many vids and OnlyFans and so many different online communities like that really exist. I mean, back in the day, you look at the golden age in the '80s and the '90s and the internet babes of the year and whatnot. We've really come a long way, but there's so many great things nostalgia wise that really are the evolutionize how adult content is. You know.
I almost I'm seeing a lot more of the more old style porn coming back. A little bit of the more sensual stuff, not just pounding it and just fucking. Really, I mean, I and it's nice to see. I like that.
I'm right there with you. I think for me, and I like that you brought this point up about the pounding, and it's not just that anymore, because I love going into this as well. I always look at it like this. We mentioned art form. I look at it from a storytelling side of things. Porn cannot just be about pounding and fucking. It's how you get to the story and how you get to the scene and stuff. There's a story to it. There's work that goes into it in front of the camera and behind the camera that makes an overall presentation. So I always look at porn kind of also how you look at life. It's being the best representation of your presentation in anything you do. It's how you represent yourself and present yourself, and that's one of the more elegant parts of porn and parts of the adult entertainment industry that really is worth having with that.
Absolutely. Because, sometimes when I am out there on the web and I'm doing my what I call research, which really means I'm looking at porn, I'll find a video and I'm going to want to watch it and everything. But, we all fast forward to the good part sometimes. And I'll fast forward to whatever part I think is going to be the good part. And then I'm like, oh, let me go back. How did they get in that position? How did they transition from where I was at to what I zoomed through to where they're at now? I always want to go back and see, okay, how did they get there? Uh, how did they elegantly maneuver to that position sometimes? So you made a really good point. It's about the buildup sometimes.
I mean, I look at it like this, and we'll make a pop culture reference to this. Rocky is one of the most integral parts of the franchise in movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at it like
Yep.
Rocky. If you have Rocky Balboa, or if you have even from the start of Rocky, it's like, I'll make an example. It's like, screw him fighting Spider in the beginning to the build up to Apollo Creed. You just get right to the title fight with Apollo Creed. So it's like, wait a minute, then what happens before that? And how do we get to the climax here of the Apollo Creed bout that goes to a draw that leads to the rest of the franchise? So you can't just have the substance there. You have to have everything that leads up to the substance. You have to have a nice balance with everything.
And otherwise, you're not rooting for Rocky if you
Right.
don't know what his struggles were before.
Right. He's just like a normal guy then. So, I mean, you don't
Right.
have the importance of the character and everything that goes into it. I mean, from the porn side, back in the day, like, you had Taxi Cab Confessions, you had Cat House, the series, you had many different porns on Cinemax, Skinemax, if you will, at 3 o'clock in the morning. Great films. I mean, they have their stuff in there that may be a little cheesy and nostalgic, but it works. And I mean, they always had the buildup in there to see what we would get to the climax scene. So, I mean, people will say what they will about nostalgia, but even those stuff, like you would see at 3 o'clock in the morning, has a little bit more substance to it.
Yes, I agree. I would totally agree.
And I look at it this with you, my sensual and beautiful friend over here. Let's talk about some of your works and your content, because I look at it from a stance like this. everybody has a story to tell, and everybody really gets to showcase themselves on a camera, off camera, and be the best representation of your presentation. So I got to ask you, Miss Behavin, how did you kind of gravitate towards the adult content realm, get you into content creation? What kind of gravitated and pulled you into it?
Well, I'm not a spring chicken, and I've already lived several lives probably compared to others, and completely finished a career, long one, and you know, I'm not working a traditional job anymore, and my husband, he said, I want to travel. I want to go have fun. Why don't you quit your job? And so after 22 years, and plus 10 years in the corporate world, and I was a school teacher before, I was taught math. And he's like, let's just quit. Life's too short. And we just started traveling. Well, then I'm very ADD, and I get distracted easily, but I need routine. And I was bored out of my mind, and we all knew that if I did not find something to occupy my time, that I was going to get in trouble. I was going to max out those credit cards or something. Buy too many shoes. I don't know what it is, but I was just going to run around in circles until I figured out something that I could have fun doing. And and at about the same time, my husband was at work before we all weren't working anymore, and I texted him at work, and I said, because I'd always text him things at work, so I'd give him time to think about it before he got home. And I sent him a message, and I said, I want to go somewhere where we can fuck in public. And and I wasn't sure how he was going to respond to that, because we led a very vanilla life. And within minutes, it's like, do they make places like that? And I'm like, yeah, there's a place in Jamaica. And he's like, so by the time he got home, we had 2 trips booked. Well, I'm very much an exhibitionist by nature. That's just part of my personality. I like being the center of attention. And if there's not a party going on, I'm probably going to bring one. And I don't know. I discovered in doing those trips that I enjoyed being watched. I liked being looked at, and things like that. And so I've always photographed pretty well, for someone who has no clue what they're doing. And I met a girl, and she said, why don't you do an OnlyFans? Here's my referral link. And I'm like, okay. And I had quite a few photos of photo shoots I had done for my husband and stuff as gifts or things. And I thought it would last only a couple of months, and it's been 2.5 years since. So I've always had that little inner sex kitten, hoe, whatever you want to call it, slut in there, whatever. It's just part of me. I'm always that person that's going to push the envelope to make a clean joke a dirty one, an appropriate situation, a not appropriate situation, because I don't know, I like to laugh, and I don't know, it's just kind of stuck.
You have wonderful traits, my dear friend. I will say this to the forefront. You're very welcome. But no, that goes a long way. I mean, exploring the sensuality, just, a text message can do wonders for fucking in public. So, I mean, I look at it like this, Miss Behavin. You have a lot of things to offer from that realm, but also at the same time, too, really to explore yourself and really expand on the sensuality vibes. I mean, as people, we grow. As people, we evolve, and some of our things change as far as sensuality goes and sexuality. And I think being the center of attention, there's that exhilarating, that adrenaline rush, so to speak, of being watched, being in public, and just boom, here we are making love. So that's the stuff that really sticks with a lot of people. And I mean, I don't think it's hoish at all. I think it may be a little freaky deaky, which is cool. We all got that little freaky deaky in us, So I mean, hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Hey, and I like doing what I do. So
But no, that's the beauty of life there, folks, and the beauty of just one love and the passion that goes into love making. And I mean, I look at it like this: from a lot of your stuff, I've seen your work with the likes of Cora Bell and Kaylee Davis. Very beautiful and sensual scenes. I mean, you could be getting a massage, you could be having a one-on-one, you could be doing so many variations. But those stuff right there encompasses a lot, and it adds to the film not only the sensuality vibes, but also adds the fun and entertainment to it. And you certainly, with what we see on camera, do provide a lot of fun and entertainment.
Well, I try to. You never know how you're going to come across to people, and you only get one shot at making that impression. And it's not like I'm trying to please anybody but myself, my husband, my family. But I'm just a fun-loving, kind of more of a carefree person. Drives my husband crazy sometimes, but I just in everything I do, I just try to show who I am, and I'm usually having fun.
I mean, I look at it like this. First and foremost, God bless you and your husband. Much love and happiness. I think that's a wonderful, healthy relationship and whatnot. Blessings. But I look at it like this too. Y'all exploring the swingers mentality. A lot of people love the swingers. It's free. It's exhilarating. But also at the same time too, like you mentioned, it's a lifestyle. And I mean, having the right lifestyle goes into everything. And I mean, a lot of people can equate with that lifestyle. So I mean, if you're living the right lifestyle, if you're going par for the course, it's a journey, man. Every day's a journey. Every day's a
Oh,
blessing. So that
it
blessing
has
comes.
definitely
Yep.
been a journey.
Yes, ma'am. That goes a lot with it. It's the journey of the swingers vibes, but I think that's very cool. I think it's a great lifestyle really to live. It brings a lot of people together, so to speak.
Well, I got to tell you, and I'm sorry, but I've just got to adjust my camera.
No
My
worries.
chair swivels, and so I move a certain way. Anyway, um, but regarding the swingers lifestyle, we knew nothing when we went to Hito the first time. We had no clue what we were getting into. We didn't know about the lifestyle. We didn't know about swingers. We didn't know we were considered vanilla. We didn't know any of those things, and we have definitely come a long way. And we've discovered that there's not a one size fits all for relationships in an alternative lifestyle such as this. And at first, we kind of felt, because we're not a full swap couple, and at first it was just us, and we would go to these places and we would think, oh, we're not going to be accepted for who we are, we're going to be judged, and things like that. And oh my gosh, the thing that I love about the lifestyle, the swingers, whatever you want to call it, is that we have never met so many people that are just non-judgmental and accepting. And when we went to Hito the first time, I thought, oh, people are going to be touching me, guys are going to grab my titties, whatever it is, they're going to be smacking your ass. And oh my gosh, we had no clue how precious and how important consent is in those environments. Even more so, I tell my husband all the time, if we were to go out to a club that's not a lifestyle club, just a regular club, I feel safer when we're at our lifestyle clubs than if I were to go out to a regular club. I feel safer because you go out to a regular club and people do those things. They'll spank your ass when you walk by and things like that. They'll catcall you and trust me, all those things still happen at the swingers club. I'm not saying they don't, but it's usually with consent. They've usually built some kind of a rapport with you that they know that those things are okay, and you just feed off of it. But we have just been so surprised at how respectful a community it is, and in doing this journey with my husband, it oh my gosh, our communication has improved tenfold. Our trust, our commitment to each other, everything has it's just improved over and over and over again. And we still evolve. We're still evolving, and just like anybody else in anything that they do. And oh my gosh, we're having so much fun. I just wish we'd started doing it sooner.
First of all, I like your style on the fact that I can definitely see the differentiations between an actual club and the lifestyle club. I mean, it's kind of like that scene in Scarface, right? So when Tony Montana, we have Manolo. Manolo goes up to the girl. He's like, "See, I can get a girl like this," and then he gets slapped in the face at the infamous scene where they're at the pool and the beach and everything. But I look at it from a stance like this. A lot of that, unfortunately, still does resonate in today's society. But I think the more key part of the integral part of what you just said there, Miss Behavin, is the open-mindedness. In today's society, with was once taboo, everything's more normalized now with the addition, like we mentioned, of the online communities and just everything from the sex workers and everything. Having that normalization to it is wonderful because at the end of the day, we're human beings. We like what we like, and we all have our urges and experiences, so to speak. But I also look at it from a stance like this, man. Not only the fact that you're loving what you're doing and you're having fun and you wish you would have done it sooner, but I think that's very admirable of you because the two of you go from being a teacher, got it bad, I'm hot for teacher, Van Halen style, and then boom, here you are out of that lifestyle, you're out of the corporate world and you're doing your thing. You're really betting on yourself, you're doing it for yourself, and also at the same time too, you know your worth. So there's a lot of things that really kind of have a recipe of success and just continuation.
Well, my philosophy is that I'll keep doing it and until I'm not having fun anymore. When I stop having fun and it feels like a job, and there are days that it does feel like a job. It's definitely not a normal one, but it feels like a job sometimes. But there are fewer of those than not. And I'm a very social person, so to not have a job to go to every day where I got tons of social interaction, this has really filled that spot for me.
I think what I love about it too, as well as, and again, for seeing your social medias, and if you're not following this one on social media, you should because she's a great follow. But I look at it from a stance like this: when you see your imagery in like a lingerie or bikini or something, and you see your smiles and everything that go into that accentuated photo, it's beautiful. I look at people like yourself and people out there that are loving what they're doing. You provide the sensuality, you provide the elegance, you provide everything that goes into a photo. We always talk about everything that exudes and accentuates, but I think the key component to that is too, it's a gravitational pull. It's the getting the eyes on you, so to speak. So I think with you and your personality, that's what gravitates towards people. And a lot of people love that authenticity.
Well, I don't know how to be anybody else but me. And, I have a shitty poker face too. So unless I will say that I have a shitty poker face unless I'm on a mission. And if I'm on a mission, it's going to happen. And it's going to happen exactly the way I have planned that mission to happen. So, but otherwise, what you see is what you get. I just don't know how to be fake.
I think what I love about it too, as well, is when we talk about authenticity, I mentioned some of the scenes where you're getting a massage or the one-on-ones and everything. I think what's great about the variety that you provide and the creativity that goes into it in today's day and age, I think we need, like we talk about old school porns coming back and really getting that overall storytelling and those vibes to it, if you will. I think creativity is key too, because again, you're doing a lot of great work, but you're also adding your little flavor to it. I think you can concur with me on this. It's the subtleties, the intricacies and nuances that really makes everything in life.
Well, I would probably agree with you on that. For me, those subtleties are not, you can't plan those. You can't, you can't script those out. And I can tell you when I go to a collab to work and somebody wants to plan everything out, oh my gosh, if they're, because I'm not going to lie, I do this for the sexual pleasure as well. Anybody that tells you otherwise, I'm not sure I believe them. But, as soon as somebody starts trying to map out every single thing you're going to say and do, and where I'm like, huh? I'm out. I don't want to do it anymore. But I mean, I never stop it, but it's like, that ain't sexy to me. I mean, that is not natural to me. And anytime I have to act unnaturally, it's not going to be a good scene, period. I've seen them, trust me. So.
I look at it like this, and you also make a great point. I'll take it back to movie-wise. For those who've never seen Zach and Miri make a porno, Elizabeth Banks, Seth Rogen, it's like when they're filming the porn to make sure the store stays in business and everything, so they're doing that. But what's really cool about the interactions that we've seen in that film, everybody's just doing, okay, we're going to have sex here, I have sex there. But once you bring the main characters, Zach and Miri, Seth Rogen, Elizabeth Banks, and they have this intimate scene on camera because they generally like each other. They're roommates, but they have that strong connection, love, and bond, and that's what makes their scene one of the most integral parts of what they're trying to make for this porno. And then they develop a relationship and they become involved. So I love that because it gets to show on camera and in general how much lovemaking is passion, how much lovemaking is wonderful. But when you have two souls that align and you could connect like that, that's a beautiful thing,
Yeah,
right?
it's hot. It really
Yep.
is. And, I can look at, I'm going to say that I am proud of all the work that I've done. There's nothing I would say, oh, that's bad. Now, there's plenty that I'll say, oh, I was too fat there. Or, oh, there's my cellulite. But, I've had fun in every scene that I've ever filmed, except for, like, sometimes you have subscribers that want custom videos, which I
Yeah.
love to do. But if they're trying to pigeonhole me in such a specific, corner that it's hard to be me, then I lose whatever sex appeal that I thought I had. And it just becomes, okay, I got to hold this here, and I got to do this, and I got to think about, it's not sexy. And I can, every time I see one of those, I'm like, no, it wasn't hot. It just wasn't.
I definitely feel you on that, and I've always said this, and what I love about it too is I think when it comes into the game and the overall craft that it is, I mean, it's all about being safe and spectacular. The two S's: be safe and perform your craft in spectacular fashion, and the sexy side of things as well. So I think when you get to see people who are tested and doing it right and having that right collab, it works. I think
It does.
there's so many different layers and levels of thing misbehaving. And I mean, I look at you on your front, man. We have had the AVNs, we've had Exotica. There's so many great communities out there to meet the community of fans and everything. Like those are even propelled to where they are because they're just such prestigious events.
Oh yeah, I had so much fun at ABN this year. It was my first time to go. I met so many people, and before I sent that message to my husband that said, well, I want to go somewhere we can fuck in public, I didn't know there were porn conferences. Who would have ever thought about that if they don't live in this world or live in areas where those conferences, are held and advertised and things. And, even if I'd been driving, let's say through Vegas and I'd seen that on a billboard and I would think, oh, well, that's not for me. And I was really proud of myself because, I'm a little newer to this whole thing, and I am not young, and I may not be everybody's cup of tea, but for the AVNs, I set out to contact people to collab with that were total strangers that I'd never even talked to in social media or anything. And I reached out, who knows, I probably sent over 100 messages to 100 different people, and I was so pleased, surprised, and shocked at the responses that I got. And I was able to completely fill my collab schedule with brand new content with people that I would have otherwise not had the opportunity to film with. And that was a real eye opener for me. That was like, oh, sometimes, really all you got to do is ask, and as women, a lot of us tend to, as confident as even I am, all of us have that little voice inside of us that say, you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not skinny enough, you're too old, you're this, you're that. And the fact of the matter is we're not. We may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I was just totally blown away how responsive people were, how open they were, and it was real. It does great for things for the ego too.
I think what I love about you just said there and the open-mindedness and also the networking as well. It's great to network with all these people from AVNs
Yes,
and
it
Exotica.
is.
But what I love about what you just said, integral part here, you never know until you ask, because I mean, what's the
No,
worst thing that they could say is no, but also
is
number two,
no.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
it's all about taking chances. And I mean, I'll even equate this with podcasting. I love what I do. I love giving people the platform to tell their stories. And I message this beautiful woman over here, ladies and gentlemen, and boom, here we are. So I mean, you have to take a chance in everything in life, because the worst possible thing they could say is no, but you don't know until you get the chance. That's the
That's
beautiful thing
right.
about life.
And I've always been a person that, as a teacher, and I was a math teacher, and the math teachers are always the ones causing trouble because, you know, um, most of us we're pretty tough people, and math doesn't come easily to everybody, and so it's always one of those topics that lots of parents think is extremely important, but they still want Johnny to make an A. And so when Johnny's not making an A, and you're the math teacher, then I've always had a target on my back. And so, but through that, I've learned that, these are just parents trying to do what's right for their kid and protect them. And I've always just had a philosophy that you can't take things personally. But with that said, it's hard to be in this industry, get turned down by people, and not take it personally. But that's what was always sometimes preventing me from reaching out to people. And I've learned that, screw it. Who cares? What if they say no? I'm still going to live, and I'm just going to not take it personally.
I look at it like this, Miss Math teacher over here: A² + B² = C². I,
Hey, your Pythagorean theorem.
Hey man, no, I appreciate that. No, and first and foremost, I find it. And again, we talk about the admirable side of things. Math teachers are very hard. I mean, I could say this as going through high school. I had some of the toughest doggone math teachers with algebra and geometry and everything, so I could equate to
Those
it.
are the ones you remember. Those are the ones
Right?
you appreciate for
Yes.
allowing you to struggle along the way so that you could learn something in the process.
Yes.
Those are the ones that you don't forget. And I have to say, my students are adults now. All the ones that I taught, for the most part, should be adults now. And I've had some of them subscribe to my OnlyFans. I'm not gonna lie. I had one, I had one guy send me a message, and he used my real first and last name, the name of my school, and all these things. And man, I had to block him. I was like, nope, I cannot do this. But and I don't even know why was I saying that. By the way, I'm not sure why I brought that up.
No, you're fine. I mean, I think
Oh,
that. Yeah.
about
Yes.
teachers being memorable, teachers that are
Yes.
hard being memorable. You know, I guess some could say I've given them a different reason for me to be memorable at this point and at this juncture in my life, for those that have actually registered for my page. But, they're adults. I guess they can do what they do.
That
But
is.
but yes, they are the ones that allow. I've always believed that. I've always believed that um, the greatest form of love that we can show our kids is to truly know how to properly discipline them, and not in a punishment kind of way necessarily, but struggle is really the best teacher you could ever have. And for parents that just don't let their kids fail, it's really sad. Anyway, I'll get off that topic.
No, you're totally fine. You're totally fine.
Sorry, I could get on a whole soapbox about that, but I'm not gonna.
No, don't even worry about it. I mean, I look at it like this. The math teachers I had, and I'll give them a shout out just because they were great. I had a teacher in 10th grade and 11th grade. Mr. King was great. Mr. Apicella, my freshman year,
Mm-hmm.
and Miss Bistrito. Like, they made math very easy. They also made it very fun. So if it wasn't for that, like, that's very meaningful. And I mean, coming from the teacher side of things to where you are now, I mean, that's a great thing for people to subscribe and look at you. There's many memorable moments, to put it in the bluntest of terms. That. So you provide moments and memories. So that's a plus.
Yeah.
That's an encouraging part. But no, I love that about you, and that just shows how multifaceted and awesome that you are. So I mean, Miss Behavin, I will say this: on the other side of the coin, man, we got to put over the fact the Secret's Hideaway, man. I know you're going to be heading that way very, very soon. Great
I
swingers.
will be for my. I will be heading there for 3 whole weeks. I will be there for 3 weeks. Lord have mercy. I don't know where I'm going to end up getting my energy from, but I always find a way.
Well, I mean, first of all, shout out to Secrets in O-Town, Orlando, Florida. But god dang it, man, I've seen a lot of great things there. They have sex swings, they have so many different rooms. It's
So you've
very.
been to Secrets?
I have seen it. I have not been there yet. I had it. There was an event that, for those that don't know, so there's an event that I work with in podcast for LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships. They just did an event there. I hope to be there when
Right.
the next one is. But yes, I'm aware of it.
I was not there for that event. My apologies. If you guys come back, make sure I know.
Put your hands together for the one and only Avery Ryder. That's right, baby. Put your hands up so we make some noise. Let's get it rolling for Avery. A nice big round of applause for MJ Domino. That's right, baby. We got our rock star spinning away to the ring. MJ Domino looks like she's all business, baby. All business. Rocking the Daisy Deuce and ready to put her through the wall, baby. I love it. Introducing first in the pink corner, making her professional MMA debut with a record of 0 wins, 0 losses. She's self-described feral fighter, standing 5'10" tall and weighing in at 140 pounds. Fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Make some noise for Avery Ryder. I love it, I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, and her opponent, rocking the braids, multicolored, making it look oh so sexy, but oh so fierce, ready to rock and roll and do it one time. And you know what? A pair of knee-high socks is just the way you gonna do it. Looking sexy and studious as ever. Put it together and get loud for MJ Domino. All right, y'all.
Just to give a little shout out to Secrets because it's our home away from home. It is a very unique place, and what we love about it though is that they have a phenomenal playroom and a phenomenal dungeon, which is our favorite, and they have a great club, but they have great people, and we love it so much, and we were going there so much that it was more financially beneficial to buy a condo there. So we actually own one of the rooms. We named it Miss Behavin, and we actually spend less money because we own the condo, because we get some benefits that you wouldn't get if you are paying to go there all the time and stuff. But we, I said that our favorite is the dungeon, and it is. But normally when you throw out that word, people kind of stiffen up and get, quiet, and they're thinking, oh, you're in there beating each other and things like that. And it took us a while to understand that it's not that. And it can look like that for some people, that are impact players, but we are sensory players. We're also switches. And so I'm always full of so much sexual energy that I have to start on my husband, and because I got to get some of it out before I can even focus on being good in any other capacity. And so we kind of really feel also that, especially with the porn industry going really hardcore, so much, we kind of feel like couples have lost or forgotten the importance of foreplay, and have lost the art of it, and just get down to the sex. And for us, we feel like that's the most important piece. And so we are sensory players in the dungeon. So I don't want any bruises on my body. I don't want scratches. I don't want any welts or anything like that. For those that do and enjoy that, hey, more power to you. We're not going to judge by any means, but it's just not our thing. And what we've discovered is that at Secrets, a lot of couples that know us because we go there a lot, when they see us going into the dungeon, they come in so that they can watch, and we become their foreplay because they have a voyeur kink. And so we love it when the dungeon there is, it's called Club Swingster, by the way, is totally packed. And then I look up sometimes, and it's amazing that nobody is doing anything else other than watching us. And when I have that kind of audience, holy cow, jeez, it's hot.
I love that. And I think the fact that you brought up some people like Bruce's as well. I mean, I think what you're doing in the dungeon, it has a lot of fun. You mentioned the voyeur kink. Everybody has their kinks, and I love it. Mm-hmm. But that attraction and that attention, I can only bet knowing, seeing your work and knowing you as a person, Miss Behavin. But I think that adds the overall electricity and the amplification of it, too. I think that's awesome. And the fact that y'all got a condo down there is like sweet. So it adds to the play. It adds to the overall vibes, man. It's all good vibes at the end of the day.
You know, what's funny is the fun thing that we really love about the dungeon is sometimes because we're in there for hours. Sometimes we're there from open to close, and that's normally 10 till 2 a.m. And then we go finish in the playroom. And oh shoot, I lost my track. I told you I was ADD. Hold on, it's coming back. I know you'll edit this out.
I got you.
So sorry.
Hey, I'm ADD too. It's okay. Don't even worry about it. I have it too.
What was I talking about?
No, you went from 10 to 2 in the dungeon, then the playroom afterwards.
I had a point to make. Jesus. Oh. Sometimes we'll have some couples that will stay the entire time and watch us. And then we try to talk to those couples. We try to make a connection with those to see if they have any questions, because we love, that kind of feels my teacher part of me too, is sharing with others our experiences. And I've had women that are total strangers that have never done anything in the dungeon, that have never done anything sexual in a public setting. I even had one lady one time that had never even kissed a girl, much less had any kind of sexual interaction with her. That lady let me handcuff her, blindfold her, strap her down to a massage table, and do whatever I wanted to her. And so we love sharing what we've learned in this journey with everybody else, because when we go into the dungeon, you can bring your own sex toys in there and things like that, and you'll see people with a little bag, and they might have their floggers and the handcuffs and a couple of little toys. We have a whole rolling cart. It has 4 drawers, 2 fold out doors, 2 fold-out trays on the top, and it is packed to the gills. And we have toys that we use that a lot of people have never seen. And I have to give a shout out to my husband, because he's the one that buys all those toys. He loves shopping for things to add to our toy collections. Matter of fact, he's in the other room right now, making sure all of our toys are charged for when we go to Secrets this weekend.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe I should post a picture of our toy chest on Twitter.
Hey, I mean, I think a lot of people will be interested in that content. I think you just
they would be shocked, because anybody that just heard what I just said are probably thinking, oh, she's making that shit up. No, I'm not. I am so not.
And I'll be honest with you, I think not only is that wonderful and spicy, but honestly, I think that adds, and also you're influencing a lot of women. It's like if you look at Cruel Intentions with Sarah Michelle Gellar, and she's teaching the girl how to kiss in the movie. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we go to see in movies and just in general, much like you saw here. If you're influencing that woman and she's been kissing, you're enjoying that, it's an experience, man. And I think, again, we mentioned how life is like that. Life is a big whole doggone experience. But I think the fact that you could teach and have people learn, dare I say, the pearls of wisdom, that right there brings a whole different horizon really to everything.
And I love it. we both love it when we feel like we have influenced another couple to try something new that, that could possibly, um, improve their sex life or their relationship or whatever it is. We had one couple that wanted to learn how to play in the dungeon, and they were only interested in sensory play. And the our dear friends who are like family to us at Club Swingster, they always tell people about us, because you always have some people that come in and say, well, I'm not into pain. And they're like, oh, you've got to meet this couple. And so we had this one couple watch us. And so when they got home, they went and bought some of the toys that we had demonstrated to them. We shared phone numbers. Every once in a while, I get a message from him and just give an update. Sometimes when they're coming back to Secrets, they'll message me and say, hey, is your room booked? Because, even though I may not ever have sex with you, it'd be cool if we were having sex in your bed. so, so anyway, we have just met some unbelievable people along the way, and we're just having fun.
I will say this. I think with both you, and I'll include your husband in these sentiments as well, y'all both exist to inspire, and you do encourage a lot of great people through your words and actions. And I will say this, Miss, you're very welcome. And Miss Behavin, I will say this, couple final questions, and I definitely love to have you back for round 2. It's been a blast.
I would love to.
Absolutely. So I will say this. I love the name Misbehaving as well. Can we just talk about this? Because as soon as like watching your work and just everything, I love marketing, I love branding, and I love me a good name. And doggone it, man, Misbehaving, I dig it. Can we just put that to the forefront?
And I just have to tell you, that name was a fluke. But if you really knew me,
okay,
you would know that name should have been on my birth certificate. Because it's the very essence of who and what I am, to the core. I mean, and that name came about because the first name I tried out was Peaches and Bourbon, and it's actually still my link name on one of my platforms. But Peaches and Bourbon is a drink. It's a drink that I make.
Mm-hmm.
And it's with organic stuff and with good bourbon and things like that. And so I named myself Peaches and Bourbon. Well, you got to realize I have 137,000 followers or so on Instagram right now. I started with 0. I had never really posted anything on Instagram ever. And, here I go. I really don't know how to do a whole lot of things in this arena without the sexual side of me coming out, And so lo and behold, I'd be posting pictures that get flagged and get banned. My pages got shut down 3 times. 3 times. I had Instagram pages get totally shut down. And I would say, well, that person's over there. She's showing this, that, and the other. How come I can't have a see-through blouse with a nipple showing through a little bit, or whatever? And so I was so flustered after having 3 pages shut down. And there was this one person that I would pay $5 or whatever to post me, and so I could try to get my numbers out. And I reached out to him and I said, okay, what would you charge me to post me every single day so that I don't get my page shut down? Because whenever I would send him pictures to post, he didn't break the rules. And I'd get so frustrated. And so he said, this is what I'll do. Pay me this, and I'm going to create a new page for you. And I'm not going to share the login details with you until you've reached, 3,000 followers. And I said, okay. And then just sarcastically, which is also very essence of my personality, I said, well, what are we going to name it? Misbehavin'? And I was like, oh my God. And I spelled it with 2 S's and a capital B. Right in that moment, Misbehavin' was born. And I love it. It is the perfect name.
I think so.
At least for me it is.
No, I think it suits you, and I think it's well. It's just you being you, but also at the same time, too, I can understand the frustration. And we talked about this before we got on air, folks. Social media is a son of a bitch when it comes to like community
Mm-hmm.
guidelines and stuff. And it's like
Yes,
someone can have this on over here and have a whole lot of just being out over here, but then you post like a tamer thing that's more tame than we're
I
both.
know.
As frustrating.
It's very frustrating, but I've learned to play by those rules as best I can, and over 2 years, I've gotten up to 137,000, which in my opinion is a huge accomplishment for me. And I also have to say, I had a gentleman that would message me all the time and say, "Let me promote you," and I'm like, "I can't pay you." He's like, "You don't need to." I'm like, "Okay." And so he is really the person that got my numbers going really big time. So I have to say thank you, Bobby.
Shout out to Bobby. Everything keeps going on and on to the break of dawn. Yes, ma'am. And I will say this before I have you promote the socials. Two final things I got to mention. You talk about before not being everybody's cup of tea. Well, you're my cup of tea, ma'am. Number one, but
Well,
also,
I am so glad.
and number two, I look at it like this. I think for me, from the male point of view on this program here, folks, I think for me, through my experience within this thing that we call life, I have been with a lot of women of different shapes and sizes, and it doesn't matter to me if you're polite, if we have a vibe, doesn't matter size, whatever. I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's how I look at life and women. So
Yeah.
you are one of those beautiful women, man.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're very
I'm glad
welcome.
to hear that.
Thank you. You're very welcome.
It feeds my inner ego.
And there you go. Okay. All right. I'm glad to feed that. Now, I will say this on the other side of the spectrum here. You talk about, again, just going from teacher to adult content creator. We'll get those teacher brains going here because I love to ask this question. Within life, we aspire through our words and our actions. For you, what advice would you give to content creators really coming on the come up thus far, much like you are and doing your thing? What advice would you give those who are just starting out?
I would tell them that it is a marathon, not a sprint. And I hear this comment sometimes, and I was probably guilty of saying this as well. Someone's lost their job, and they'll make a comment, "Oh, well, I'll just make an OnlyFans page." I'm sorry, anybody that thinks that what we do is not work, that they're crazy, because it is work. And there's some people that it just, especially during COVID when all of this started so much, some people, maybe they go from zero to making $1 million their first year. I don't know who those people are. It certainly wasn't me. And but those are few and far between. And if you're in it thinking that you're going to make bank just overnight, then you just need to try something else, because this is not the right spot for you, because it takes patience, it takes consistency, and it takes someone that's ready to realize that it's a slow go and you're going to be in it for the long haul. Otherwise, you need to go do something else.
Beautifully and eloquently said. And I'm glad you brought that point up, because when everybody thinks the OnlyFans in a very nonchalant manner, just like, I'm going to do some OnlyFans, I'm like, there's a lot of things that go into doing this stuff than just like,
Exactly.
It's not like that old Tommy Lee song where he's talking about get naked. It's not just about getting naked. There's like other stuff to it. Like, that's what a lot of people don't realize. Yes, it is content creation, but there's work.
There's lots of work. And I'll also say this, if you don't have some pretty good technical skills, which I've always been a computer technical nerd person, if you don't have those skills, then you're probably going to struggle, because there's a whole lot of crap you got to learn. And I'm still learning every single day.
It's the beautiful thing about life, ladies and gentlemen. We're always learning. And I will say this, what we can learn about you and your overall awesomeness, and I'll put that into the forefront, Miss Behavin. Where can we follow you on the social media fronts? The floor is yours. Please promote it.
On the social media fronts, you can find me on Twitter. I'm at Miss Behavin XO, and on Instagram, it's Miss Behavin XOXO. And then I have a couple of other pages. There's also some fake ones out there. But if you look mine up and you see 137,000 followers, that's me.
Hell to the yeah. And those links will be in the description below this fine show, folks. And if you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, it's Mike Larkin92 for all your on the mic with Mike goodness from people of all different facets of life, including Miss Behavin over here doing her misbehaving things. So with that being said, as I always say to end this show, life is an art form. We're all applying our crafts. Continue to apply your craft in amazing fashion. And of course, the mindset, ladies and gentlemen, beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. And misbehaving, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, that I take that I take that very seriously. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I cannot.
Because I truly feel like in this life, people aren't going to remember you necessarily for what you do, but they are going to remember you for how you treat them. And it costs nothing and takes no effort to just be nice. And I hope that anyone that crosses my path can say that I was nice to them. If not, you need to whop me upside the head. But and I'm not even sure why I said that, but thank you. Flattery will get you everything, Michael.
You are very welcome. I won't slap you upside the head, but I'll definitely give you a hug when we meet in person. I appreciate your time.
Please do. I've totally enjoyed this podcast.
Same. Thank you all so much. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Check this out. 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 Check this out.